My power is me being in business situations and being the person with the least fear.
They get blinded by what you've done and they're consistently saying, look what you have, versus acknowledging what you've already done.
Because look, I try not to let things that affect me that I can't change.
I think the things you go through make you who you are.
It's a special kind of high that you get addicted to and you'll chase it for the rest of your actual career.
Mind if I put a poster in your window? Thank you.
Art support.
That's absolutely something that I developed
Okay.
over time, because I think I have the same emotions everyone else does. I just have a way to suppress those feelings in different circumstances and situations. I can kind of adjust. A lot of the decisions are kind of like gut feelings. Like the music business and entertainment in general, there's no school for it.
Right.
You know, so you got to kind of instinctively make the right decisions.
I've somehow ended up under circumstances where I've been up against the toughest things in the environment that I come out of before any success takes place. There's going to be people unhappy with the success that you have regardless. You know, they'll, without knowing who you are, individuals could look and just judge you.
And that means that person deserves to be ahead of you in life, because your fear of being wrong at that point is not allowing you to create your value in the workspace. My power is me being in business situations and being the person with the least fear at the table. And that's because I weigh these things up against my biggest losses in my life. So, like, the loss of my mom is the biggest thing that I've experienced. So, walking into a room, even at the worst possible scenario, it won't damage me to the point or hurt as much as that hurt it.
It makes you evaluate when you thought you had nothing to lose, and you were making decisions based on that. When you see someone with less than you actually had at that point, then you gotta say, well, what was I basing my decisions on at that point? Because if I was under those circumstances, I would have been happy to be in the position I was in.
I'm just having fun with it. You lose some of the fun, the competitive nature, the competitive part of hip hop can allow you to not enjoy the moment at points.
So you gotta be passionate about what the things you commit to.
I think people, the only thing that separates us is passion. You become passionate at something early enough that you can put enough energy into it for you to become good enough at it because you love it. Like some people are so talented that they don't have to work at it. It just comes.
It's natural.
Yeah.
Well, I said to him, you can follow trends until you're comfortable, but offer yourself, because the trend is something that someone else started, and it could be who they are as an actual artist, and then it becomes difficult for you to create a separation.
You make investments in different things. Sometimes they win, sometimes they don't. More losses than wins, but when you do win, you win so big, it makes up for everything.
No matter how much you feel like you're prepared for something, it never happens on your time, like when you think you're ready, like it's supposed to happen. It always happens when it's supposed to happen. Because the period that you feel ready and people are not acknowledging the material the way you feel like they should because it's good, is the time that you actually develop skin thick enough to survive when it does work. You know, it's like when you play something and you know that this is good. You don't hear this? You know that, like I get that all the time. It's like you run into that same energy later after you've had success. There's nothing that can actually compare to when it's right. What it feels like when it's right. The music is just dead right, and it's like that energy that's there. It's a special kind of high that you get addicted to, and you'll chase it for the rest of your actual career. When you feel that feeling, whether it's your first album, second album, third album, just a single, because a lot of artists have a career long enough for one song, you know, but when you feel what that feeling is, you ain't gonna replace it.
Because I don't accept no as an answer, you know, no means try again to me. Like, even on the business end, I keep it like that, so if I get the answer, it's not a big enough let down to stop me from not going after my actual goal.
Every opportunity that opens up for you
Yeah.
is an opportunity for someone else to have success.
Or for you to actually have a moment.
I never wanted to be someone different. I wanted to be a better version of me, like to not have the restraints that I had. You know, and when you come up without finances, it seems like the biggest restraint. It makes you make that financial or money focus. Because look, I try not to let things that affect me that I can't change.
I think the things you go through make you who you are. So I don't regret those things. I don't regret them because I don't think I'd be who I am today.
Yeah, I'm not interested in the financial outcomes. I want to continue success, but there's no specific mark of finances that'll work. Because to be honest with you, if I'm sitting here with you a year from now, 2 years from now, and they're like, "You did it, you're a billionaire," I'm gonna still be saying, "Yeah, but I got another idea." Because ambition isn't a learned behavior; it's a part of your natural character, and you'll always find something to be passionate about, or a new goal, or a new. You see guys sell companies $5-6 billion and go, "Yeah, okay, now what's the next?" I don't think it's about actual the money at that point. Because once you actually acquire something, then you start to realize things about yourself. Like you don't need things that you wanted. Because the big restraint in front of you when you're not in a good financial space is financial. Well, I'm a rapper, an entrepreneur, a person that has doesn't see limitations. I'm a person who has high expectations of myself.
Well, the most ruthless people that you run into are going to be people that are just focused and not necessarily taking your life into consideration while they're taking theirs.
When you're successful, there's a period that you have to work through. It's that cloud again. It comes back around and people say, yeah, it's cool. Because you've had several hit records for quite some time. They go, yeah, it's cool. That new song, yeah, it's hot, but it's not hot as it was on Get Rich or Die Trying.
It's impossible to get away from it.
Okay.
No matter what group of people, whether it's your actual blood relatives or people that you've developed relationships, they get blinded by what you've done and they're consistently saying, look what you have, versus acknowledging what you've already done.
I'd say not to be so trustworthy
Yeah.
of people. Again, the biggest investment is if you ask the guys on top of Fortune 500 companies, right, what was their biggest investment? Immediately they may think financial investment, but the biggest investment is in friendship. It's in
Relationship.
yes.